And we're live. Looking good. And we're also live on YouTube right now. Nice. Cool. Okay, so welcome to the fourth brew with our beans. We're getting there. We're making tweaks and we're hoping that something good will happen. And right now, this is the first time we're changing the brewing ratio with these beans over here. So we've only been brewing at a 1:17 brewing ratio for a while. And I think that going up in a brewing ratio might just allow some of the flavors and tastes to shine through and really come out of these beans over here. So we're going from a 1:17 brewing ratio to a 1:18 brewing ratio, which is what we said yesterday. So this is our new recipe for today. A 1:18 brewing ratio, a 15-gram dose. We went back to 27 as a grind size, but since we changed our brewing ratio, our water dose will be 270 grams, and we're still keeping our water temperature at boiling. Now, one thing that I want to say is that I think I might want to just make a big change again to see what's up, because even though we made some small micro tweaks to the recipe, we might just have to make some big swipes to the recipe to really mix it up and hopefully get a new cup of coffee, because just tweaking some small things here and there just might not be enough to shake up the recipe and give the intended result that we want. So we'll try this cup over here today, see how it goes. But if not, I do have some ideas as to how we're gonna shake it up even more to hopefully get a good cup of coffee. Okay, so let's move down into the brew cam. I'll move you peeps over here. So tilt you down like that. Nice. I'll put this over here. And as always, if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to post those in the comments section. Let's begin. So we're measuring out our beans, 15 grams of coffee. I'm going to measure a bit more since we're changing grind size again. I'm going to do a quick purge. Oh shit, this is the wrong beans. That was a close one. Pour that back in. Close. So we got our coffee beans. Move the grind size back to 27. Do a slight purge. And then grind the coffee. 15 grams. Ta-da-da. Ta-da-da. Even the smell of it is really delicious, but I want those scents to like be extracted by the water, hopefully. Okay, so we got our water, like so. And now we preheat. So we got our cup, our Hario V60, and our coffee filter, like so. And we preheat. So I realized today that one of my favorite like light jackets that I recently got started losing its seams at the bottom of my arm. So I need to sew it together, which will be a fun mini project to do. But yeah, I gotta bust out some other skills, not just my coffee skills, but my handy dandy sewing skills to patch that up. Okay, pour our grinds in, like so. Shake that up. Make a small divot, like so. Tear. Let's begin. Start the timer. Pour 40 grams in, like so. Get a, or actually not, no stir stick, we're just swirling. Like so, to make sure that all of the grinds are saturated. And then we wait a bit. And then we're pouring all the way up to 270 grams of water in a pretty quick manner. Like so, 270. Now we take a spoon to get the grinds down from the top of the filter. Just move it back and forth 2 times, like so. And then we wait. And then when the liquid is around halfway, we do the swirl. One thing I like about the Hoffmann method a lot is that it's a really quick process, and you don't really need to have a gooseneck kettle either. In my opinion, this is one of those techniques that kind of doesn't require that pour control that much. Because you're doing so many different techniques and methods to make sure that the coffee bed is level and even, the amount of technique in your pour doesn't really matter that much in this process. So like the thing that we're doing with the spoon, the swirl that we're doing, adding all of the water at the same time, is all things that kind of doesn't make sense with the gooseneck kettle and the control that you can have. So yeah, could even do it with like a just a pot of water, just pouring it in. Make sure that it's not splashing everywhere. Okay, it's getting close. Nice. So one thing I love about coffee is that it's such a calming and meditative event in my day. Even though I've now woven in you peeps, the chat, to and viewers into my process, it's still just so like automatic, and you just kind of like do the steps, and it really makes me start my day off on a solid footing, kind of like a mini meditation. Okay, so we got our coffee bed. Looks quite nice and flat. Looking solid. Give this a stir. And done. Now, as always, I love just letting it cool down a bit because the coffee is extremely hot in the beginning and it'll just burn your taste buds. So let us let that cool down. And in the meantime, we'll move this up. Like so. And like so. Nice. So today I'm gonna probably post another video, and it's gonna be on brewing recipes. And it's gonna be all about just my thoughts on them and why I think that we follow them a bit too closely, and we try to stick to one method as a loyalist for a bit too long. So we need to like treat brewing recipes more as a tool and not as a end all be all final kind of like saying. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I love playing around with different brewing recipes. You can tell by how I've gone from the osmotic flow, from my basic Hario V60 technique, to then the Tetsu Kasuya, and now the James Hoffmann technique. All of these methods are really great at extracting coffee in some way or form. And there is not one way that is the best way, but it really just depends on the circumstances. What type of grinder do you have? What are the beans that you're using? What's their roast level? So thinking more about the ingredients and what you're using should then enforce and kind of like direct you towards a specific brewing recipe. And I think that that is the way recipes should be used, instead of just saying that one recipe is the best recipe out there. So use it more as a tool belt. So use a screwdriver when you need a screwdriver, but then use the hammer when you need the hammer. Okay, so let's give this a sippy sippy. So it's having the same issue as before, which is that the tastes are just disappearing way too quickly. I'm sipping it, I'm trying to latch onto something, but then half a second later, that taste and that mouthfeel is gone. So this is very similar to cup number 3 over here. No, 2 over here. Yeah, 2, where things just didn't stay there for such a long time. And I feel like that's an issue. That's for sure an issue. So we need to mix up the recipe and try something different with these beans. Like, it has a bit of a silky body, this one, but that is pretty much the only characteristic that is positive with this cup over here. So the silky body, because the tastes are kind of non-existent. It's just like a generic coffee taste. And I was hoping that there would be more interesting tastes due to the process, which is the naturally washed process, and also the light roast of the bean. So there's yet again a lot of hopes and dreams that I have in these beans, but right now we're still not extracting them and getting that full potential out of the beans. Yeah, so I liked the past cups, or cup number 2, where it actually had a bit of acidity. So I feel like we might have to lean more into a different type of coffee body, meaning right now I've gone up with the brewing ratio to try to get a more silky body, but maybe we need to do the opposite direction. So go down in brewing ratio to get a more juicy and thick and viscous body, to then see if more flavors and tastes can then come out of the beans and shine. Because what I've been trying to do is to increase the brewing ratio to really let those tastes shine on their own, but it's not happening. So we need to just mix things up and try different things. And what we'll probably do, let's first taste extraction on this cup. It's a balanced extraction here too. So looking at our chart over here, extraction, there's no intense bitter notes or sour notes. So we get a balanced extraction like so. Overall, it's a balanced cup, but it's also a bland cup. So we do need to mix some of the variables up to hopefully get an even better cup of coffee. But this specific cup of coffee over here, I would say is maybe a bit lower than average, because the only positive quality that I'm getting with these beans over here is that it has a silky body, and that's pretty much the whole story with this cup over here, a silky body, which is not enough. We need more from these beans over here. I have high expectations. So what are we going to do? We're going to start exploring with a lower brewing ratio. So we've tried 1:17, we've tried 1:18. Let's try 1:16. So we're going to 1:16 it over here, like so. And what we're going to do is, instead of changing any of these other variables, we are going to add a dash of water after the fact to balance it out. So I want to force some acidities into this cup of coffee, and that's why we are going to lower our brewing ratio to this point over here, which will extract less. And then we will add a dash of water into the cup of coffee to then let it open up and hopefully have a bit of that lingering acidity there still. So I'm actually not going to change anything else, but a 1:16 brewing ratio makes it so that this over here becomes 240 grams instead, like so. So this will be our recipe for tomorrow. We're changing our brewing ratio to 1:16, and that means that our water dose will be 240 instead of 270. Okay. Let's keep sipping this cup and see what's up. As a liquid cools down, I always hope that it opens up a bit more and does something different, but this one is staying pretty much the same as in its taste. So sadly enough, yet again, even after things have cooled down, it's still the same old balanced and slightly silky, lacking in flavor, and that is okay. Sometimes we get mediocre cups, and that's just how it is. And we've been getting a lot of mediocre cups with these beans over here. So I don't know, it might just be me, but so far these natural Colombian beans have not been as amazing as these washed Kenyans over here. So I am pretty excited to get back to these on Monday, but I really do want to try to get something better out of these as time goes by. So we got tomorrow for our last brew this week with these guys, and then next week or next week we'll be jumping back to these. Maybe letting the beans rest for a longer time will actually benefit them because of the amount of light roastness these are. So hopefully time will give it some TLC and we can get to an even better cup of coffee with these. Okay. I hope everyone has a great day, great morning, evening, afternoon. I'll probably post that video later today or tomorrow morning. Depends on where I get with it. But it's really close to finishing that brewing recipe video chat. And I've also been working on this really cool video that I'm just going to talk about what it takes to be a barista. And I've asked a lot of barista friends to give me some input on this topic here. So that will be a really solid video that I need to record. So I'll probably record something today or tomorrow and start editing that. Overall, pretty excited to see what happens. We still have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of video to make, a lot of things to write, a lot of coffee things to talk about. And yeah, we'll see how things go. So I'll say bye to you peeps, Instagram, like so. See ya. And I'll say bye to you also. Have a good day.